Coming straight from the cockpit, it's another episode of Lunatic Fringe with the fucking pilot.
Ready, set, go. All right, we are back in the can with another edition of Lunatic Fringe Into the Void. I am the fucking pilot, and we've got someone in the studio this time. No Skype, no magic of the internet. He's going to tell us about some seriously extensive experience doing some really cool, fun, crazy shit. So tell me, who the fuck are you and what do you do?
My name is Craig Girard, and I am I guess you could probably say that the majority of my skydiving has been formation skydiving.
All right.
Okay, 4-way, 8-way, large formation, organizing, tunnel coaching, that type of slant on it.
Sure. So pretty much everything, and the majority of which in the sport itself more belly oriented than anything.
For sure. Yeah.
So when did you start skydiving?
I just had my 38th anniversary, March 14th.
Wow.
So I was, I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay.
And I just remember 8th grade, the Golden Knights jumped into my middle school. And I was, I think, 8th grade to like 13, 14 years old. And I saw some parachutes out of the back of my house. So like there's some balloons taking off. And it's pretty far out there. It's
sure.
Like maybe 5-6 miles out there. I could see the balloons. I could see parachutes flying around. And I was like, did a little research, and I said something to my dad. I was like, hey, look, they're advertising skydiving for $65 for your first jump course. So
right.
There's no AFF or no tandem. And so I said, my dad's like, yeah, do you have the cash? I said, yeah, I have the cash. He goes, okay, I'll give him a call. And so, yeah, like a couple of days later, came home from school and
off to the races.
Off to the races, yeah. So I made my first jump and thought I was just going to go make one jump. And my dad and I made our first jump together.
Cool.
Yeah. So.
You're actually the second person that I've had in the booth that started with their parent, David Jr. Ludwig.
Is that right?
Same thing. He started with his dad as well.
And, yeah, so I think my dad was 42, something like that. I was 15.
Wow.
Yeah. And so since I was going there with my dad and the instructor, the owner of the drop zone, in 1981, he was 73 years old. Okay.
Wow.
He was never had a driver's license. He was he had 16,000 flying hours. He made his first jump in 1931, 29, something like that. This is the truth.
Jesus.
And Joe Crane, the founder of the Parachute Club of America, which is now USPA, was his instructor.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's my instructor. And so he made his last jump in 1955. Okay. He had 400 jumps. And so he, as you can imagine, he was an awesome guy. And so we showed up at his house and did the class in his backyard. And he asked my dad, he's like, is he 16? And my dad's like, yeah. And that's all that was ever said.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and talk about getting started with some serious, I mean, that's the whole lineage, the heritage of skydiving right there. I mean, wow. I talked to Melissa Nelson, who said the same thing, that it's such a young sport that you have the opportunity to go out and make jumps with and experiences with your heroes and the beginnings of the sport. I told her the very first paid video I ever shot was a 4-way with Lou Sanborn on it. Who the fuck gets to do that, right?
He's still jumping.
Yeah.
He's still jumping.
Which gives all of us hope. I mean, what a badass. But
I was actually on his supposedly last jump at Skydive Chicago. And I've since heard that he couldn't hold down the retirement. He had to keep jumping.
He's like the Rolling Stones. It's his last tour over and over and over again. Yeah, somewhere in one of my tapes, I've got that very first jump of Lou, and it was the owner of the Vegas Tunnel and Juliana C., who I'm sure you know, Brazilian.
Oh, yeah. I know her really well.
Badass.
Super well.
Yeah. I had the biggest crush on her.
Everybody did.
Oh, my God. She's just fucking gorgeous and this amazing skydiver, and I had no jumps and no idea what the hell was going on. Hadn't seen her in forever. I think I ended up Facebook friends with her again, but she doesn't remember me.
I've known her for a long time, and so she moved back to Brazil, and she was. I coached the Brazilian 4-way team for 5 years before I came here, and she's on that team. And so I went to Brazil 2018, like 3 times to go work with those guys. And
Wow.
she's killing it. She's doing a great job.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, she's great.
Well, so you go out and you make these first jumps with Dad and start skydiving, but where does it become what it is now? I mean, how did you start to go into becoming a full-time skydiver and
Well, let me preclude that, Dean, because like a lot of people ask me this, like, they're like, how'd you, like, what was your road to, like, winning a world championship? Basically the same thing. And, it goes back to this first jump because I was 15 and, I was on the wrestling team and I was super little. I was like 5'3", like.
That changed.
115 pounds or something like that, soaking wet. But, I was in a school with like 1,200 kids at it, and it's like I was basically a nobody, just trying to fit in. And man, I went out to go skydive, and my dad and I decided we're going to go back the next day and make a second jump. Like, dude, let's do it. Like, we thought, it doesn't happen very often.
Right.
And so we went out the next day, and I broke my leg. Okay.
Seriously?
Yeah, I broke my leg in my second jump with a round parachute. Like downwind, feet apart, no PLF kind of thing. And so I was in a cast and I was just driving out to the drop zone like every weekend, just to listen, just to hear what was going on.
Sure.
And man, in that time, people were really super kind and just welcoming,
Sure.
And it was like that truly, that was the grabber for me. That was a grabber. And it was like I just wanted to spend my whole time out there. And then all of a sudden I go back to school with this cast and people are like, how'd you break your leg? I was like, skydiving. They're like, yeah, right.
That's awesome.
But then eventually, like in when I was a sophomore in high school, I actually jumped into the USFL had a game in Phoenix, like in Sun Devil Stadium there.
All right.
And I remember jumping in the game ball, and the quarterback from our football team was like, saw me coming off the field. He's like, "You're in my economics class."
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you've kind of hit on the what seems to be the magic theme for everybody that I've talked to is that the most common ground is community. It's been community for literally everybody, and in every aspect of it. Even talking to Ellis Bourbonnais recently, it was the same in the base jumping community as well. It's just such a tight knit community. So the community draws you in, and you go full bore from a very young age. Yeah.
Well, I joined the Army when I was 17. And
okay.
So I did the delayed entry, so I'd joined in February, and I graduated a semester early, my senior year, and so went in the Army, and I had actually seen the Golden Knights jump into my middle school, right? And so I just thought that Golden Knights were the Blue Angels or the Thunderbirds is you got to be an astronaut to get on the Golden Knights, right? And I just remember seeing the Golden Knights. They won the 4-way world championship the year I started jumping, and when I was in the Army, I was as a helicopter mechanic for 4 years.
Okay.
But then I was jumping and ran into a bunch of ex-Golden Knights, and they were like, you should try out for the Golden Knights. So I joined the military to fly helicopters.
Right.
And so they weren't taking pilots at the time, so I went in as a mechanic. And so I put a application in for flight school and for the Golden Knights at the same time.
Wow.
And I was like, whichever one of these comes back first, I'm doing it. And
that's cool.
Yeah.
So you kind of left it up to almost the flip of a coin tossed by the military.
Well, they still they weren't taking pilots into flight school, so I was I got accepted to go to Golden Knight tryouts, made the team.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so
that must have been an insane accomplishment. Your dad must have just been through the roof.
Super proud.
He had to be. Come on, it's the fucking Golden Knights, man. I mean, to this day, the Golden Knights are still, not to sound punny, but the gold standard.
For sure.
I mean, and granted, when you've got the military resources, you can do some serious training, but wow. So it's funny because a lot of the people that, especially the younger skydivers, have all gone through their I don't know, kind of, I want to say dirtbag phases, big time partying, and you know, you've been in it longer than I have, and it used to be the dirtier the jumpsuit and the more trash the rig, the better the skydiver was. But you, for as long as I've known you, have always been the epitome of professional. And I assume that part of that is because of the military, but a part of that's just you.
Yeah.
I mean, where did that come from?
That's for sure military.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I really enjoyed my time in the military. I like wearing the uniform, even when I wasn't on the Golden Knights. I like, just like the whole everything about it. But the never see me with really long hair,
right?
It's
right.
Like and same thing. You never see me with a lot of facial hair.
Sure,
it's like shaved kind of thing. Mostly because it's gray now when it comes out, so it doesn't look so great. But yeah, it actually, I give a lot of credit to the Army parachute team. They really did a great job, not just with me, but everybody that comes to that team, because it's a highly selective tryout process. So you're with a bunch of 100%ers wherever you go, and so very high standards. And so I think it just kind of carried through with a lot of that also into after I left the Golden Knights and the Army in 1995. I went out to Arizona and joined Arizona Airspeed. And that kind of continued into that, like a lot of the training mentality and the way we approach stuff, combined with how Airspeed did it. So we kind of made it like a little bit of a hybrid with that. But I definitely give full credit. And man, the Golden Knights for me, it was a skydiving scholarship.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, and to be able to transition from something like the Golden Knights into Airspeed, I mean, fuck. I talked to Dan BC, and of course got a little bit of the history of Airspeed, but I mean, Airspeed is still one of the most winningest teams in skydiving history.
Yeah, this year, it's kind of funny because not to I'm going to segue around something, come back to it again because
by all means,
Airspeed is it. So we're based out of Eloy, Arizona, Skydive, Arizona. So the World Cup of formation skydiving is in Eloy this year in October, and so the 25th anniversary of Airspeed is this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we're going to have the 25th anniversary. So all members, I'm going to put this out right now on the fucking pilot. Is that
the fucking Pilots podcast? Yeah, damn right.
Podcast. All Airspeed members, you are cordially invited. I'm going to send some emails out to everybody, but we're going to try to have the 25th reunion of Airspeed at the World Cup.
Wow.
Yeah, and so why I'm here, and Dean, you know this, so I'm working with the Russian 8-way team. Okay?
Right.
And so I know we want to go this chronologically, but I kind of got to get this out because it's here. And so, I was, the Russian 8-way team, they want to win. They want to beat the Golden Knights.
Of course.
And so they actually took second behind them last year in Australia. And so they're trying to win a world championship, but they're not teenagers, man.
Sure.
So
sure.
I mean, the youngest guy is 45, and there's two guys that are 55. The sponsor's 55.
Wow.
And another guy was at the World Championship in 1991 when I was on the Golden Knights, and this guy was on the Russian team in 1991. Yeah, and he's on the team right now.
Wow.
And so, I mean, I'm really happy that they asked me to help them, and so it's been a 3-year thing, and that's kind of a cool reason why I'm back here training with those guys. Yeah.
Sure. Well, it's funny. I mean, it says a lot for the longevity of an athlete in this sport. You take care of yourself, and you've got a long career in skydiving. I mean, Lou Sanborn, another one. I mean, how old is Lou now? He's got to be in his 80s.
80s for sure.
Fucking hell, and he's still jumping out of airplanes. Yeah. That's absolutely incredible.
Man, that's a big deal to be jumping when you're 80.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a guy at our drop zone. The guy's 83. Guy is, man, looks like he runs every day. I mean, like, this guy's in top shape.
Sure.
I'm want to be like that.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, though, there's people that are saying the same damn thing about you. I mean, how old are you now?
53.
All right, so 53 years old. You're only a couple years older than me, and I don't think either of us look our age, both of us tend to try and stay in good condition, if for nothing else, just because I'll be damned if I'm going to let those fucking kids outrun here. No, I don't know where it happened, but somewhere along the lines, I became the old guy on the drop zone or on the load. And I'm sure you know the feeling too, because skydiving, it tends to stay a relatively young sport sometimes. And I've gotten used to being the oldest guy at the table. And I'm okay with that, but I'm not the slowest guy at the table.
That's true.
That's all I care about. I don't need to be the youngest. I just don't need to be the slowest.
Especially after somebody's like, hey, man, you've been around for a long time. So you want to go run a race?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it was funny talking to Dan BC as well. He's people, call me a pioneer in the sport, and you could tell there was a bit of an insult in being called a pioneer. Fuck you. I'm not that old, man. So you get to Airspeed. So you joined Airspeed in, would you say 95?
I joined Airspeed. I left the Army in February of 95 and went right to Airspeed.
Okay.
And they were trying to win their first world championship. And so in 1994, the year before, we'd been competing against each other since late 80s, like with Jack Jeffries and Dan BC, Kirk Verder, Mark Kirkby. And so we'd always been talking about, it'd be really good to do a team together someday, but I was like, it wasn't going to happen. I was in the Army there.
Sure.
And so as things happened, I kind of found myself out there. And so Larry Hill, the owner of Skydive Arizona, who I've known, he was owned a drop zone when I started jumping in Arizona too. So known him since I started, in the beginning. And so he welcomed me with open arms, and then I became the alternate for those guys. Went to the World Meet in 95 with Airspeed, and then we started another four-way team. And so with the hopes of after they win the World Meet that we would combine those two teams to do an eight-way project and try to win both, try to win four-way and eight-way.
Epic.
So, yeah.
Epic. Well, now, I've got my own little funny Arizona Airspeed story, and it takes place in 98. Were you on the 8-way team in 98? All right. So you might even remember this because I was on the plane with you.
Okay.
Funny enough, I was competing sky surfing. We were competing against Craig and Tanya, and Omar was on doing freestyle, and I'm pretty sure it was Airspeed doing 8-way, leaving last. And we're getting up towards the top of the jump run I think we're 2 minutes or so. And we look back in the back of the airplane. And of course, we're the dirtbag sky surfers. So everybody's laid back, and it's Omar's got the whole freestyle mentality. So it's almost, that free fly set back in the day. And you guys are in the back, black jumpsuits, everything's intense, gloves are on, and your eyes closed, and everybody's going through their moves, and it's quiet in the airplane. It's just dead silence. And all of us, I think it was load one, and all of us are just kind of looking around, and Tanya O'Brien looks back and says something along the lines of, "Hey, Airspeed, don't fuck it up." I've never laughed so hard.
A bunch of eyes opening up.
Oh yeah, well, and that was the first time that I really got to see the difference in the mentality that goes into. I mean, there's a lot of intensity that goes into the sky surfing and all these other, but nothing quite as grand as something like 8-way. And I mean, holy shit, you guys are in deep. That's incredible amount of training that has to go on.
And mental training, because if you think about it, if you're doing 12 jumps a day, 5 days, let's say 60 jumps a week.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what we did, 60 jumps a week. With that 8-way, in 1998, we did 1,300 8-ways.
Jesus Christ.
In 1998, 1,300.
In 1 year.
1,300. Because we had to, because we were beaten by the Golden Knights by 2 points. They went to the World Championship and won the World Championship in 1997. In 1998, we beat them at the Nationals, and then we won the World Championship in 1999. And so you bring this up, Dean, because it's really it's a lot easier to see it. Like if there's 8 people and you're doing 12 jumps a day, 60 jumps a week, and you can't have people brain locking. But at that level, I mean, the smallest little, if you just have a little glitch where you like start to move the wrong way, basically it's like an engine that gets out of timing.
Throws a spoke, yeah.
Yeah, especially when it's full bore. Like it starts off kind of a little calmer, and then it starts shifting into gears, and then as it's going, like if you have a brain lock, it's gonna just shut the whole thing down.
Sure.
So
when you're at that level, so you're doing these 8 ways, how many points generally were you getting on a load?
But it would go up, like, just to tell you, like, where the averages went. So I won my first world championship in 1989 with a 13.8 average. So over 10 rounds, we had 138 points, okay? 1991, we had 18.3. It went up 5 points. Did a lot of innovation. A lot of teams did a lot of innovation and French team pushed us really hard. So went to 18.3, and then 1993 was like 18 or 19, kind of like that. And we were the first team to ever break the 20-point barrier. It was like the 4-minute mile.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, absolutely.
And so we broke that in 1996 at the World Cup in Belgium. And so nobody had done it. Then we went back to the Nationals, and the Golden Knights beat us by 2. They did like a 20.5. We did a 20.3. And so, yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah. So when you're at that level and you're pulling those number of points with an 8-way, I mean, and for those that don't know, each point is a different formation.
Right.
So a different grip. Even if it's just a slight move, it's a change for each person in that. Yeah. So you're talking about a ridiculous number of changes in one free fall, and it's 45 seconds of working time?
50 seconds of working time.
So 50 seconds, that's all you've got to bang out as many points as you can. At that point, are you thinking, I've got to grab this guy's leg and then I've got a side slide over here, or is it just automatic?
It's automatic.
It would have to be.
Well, the thing is, you and it kind of goes back to what we're talking about with the not trying to brain lock and have mental errors. It's a lot of rehearsals. And so what you were, referring to before when Tanya said, hey, don't fuck it up. It's like everybody, like you get in the plane and man, everybody is going through their mental training, with eyes closed and like going through the movements and like simulating picking up the grips and like seeing the keys. And so all that's done with your eyes closed. And so the thing is, you don't want to be the guy that brain locks because, if there's 7 guys don't brain lock and you're the only guy that brain locks, like you can't do that every jump.
Yeah. You're the one that threw the blade in the engine and it all goes to shit.
But it's also like sometimes that is necessary because sometimes you don't have a brain lock for a very long time and you get complacent and, and you realize you just get distracted and you realize that you through your training you realize that you could actually see that coming because like you making that mistake. And so I think sometimes the mistake-making process is actually a super big part of it, as long as it's not every jump.
Oh, absolutely. Well, no, I mean, I learn more off of the things that I fucked up than I have the things that I've done right, because if you do something kind of right, then it reinforces what might not necessarily be the right thing to do. You screw it up and you go, okay, that's absolutely what not to do. Let's move forward from there. Now, with that level of intensity, though, and this is... I've not done much, I've not done any really formation skydiving in respect to that kind of stuff, just playing around. Certainly not on any kind of competitive level. Is it fun?
That's super fun.
Because it always looked to me to be so intense. And I remember overhearing one team that was having a rough day training, and I don't even remember what drop zone, and one of the guys said, we're fucking going in if we don't get this point. And I remember thinking, okay, it doesn't sound like fun to me. It's so intense, and which obviously has its own draw. But man,
yeah. Well, part of it is that's what the attraction was, is finding guys that are, and women that are, are that intense, but also understand about making mistakes. And so it is intense. Nobody's ever going to be upset with you unless you are just intentionally trying to blow it. Like you're just not giving a shit. Like, and you can see your behavior in the aircraft. Like, you can tell if you're just like distracted and the jump's not going to go. But like that stuff's not put up with for very long in training. And so it was high intensity, but we wouldn't train for so long. Like we would do max 5 days training for 2 weeks. Okay. And then it wouldn't be like the whole month. Like it's just too much for too long.
Well, yeah, I mean to operate at 100% all the time, and you're not giving yourself any room to slack off. Now the flip side of that was you get to the ground where the parties and the times at the bomb shelter or the bent prop just as intense.
Oh yeah. Well, hopefully you don't have to train the next day, but that's sometimes that's if you're organizing at like a boogie, which was one of the things we had to do, like when we because part of the sponsorship was all those organized events, Christmas boogie, Easter boogie, Halloween boogie, stuff like that. Like we would organized and people would come for that. But there was 10 organizers.
Sure.
And so it drew a lot of people. And this is like in the heyday of formation skydiving, And I mean, it's still like a lot of people are like, oh, it's dying down, but
no, it's huge.
It's really big. And
they're still doing style and accuracy, for Christ's sakes. I mean, come on. That's like watching a fucking helium balloon run out of gas.
Well,
I just pissed a few people off, but
hey, he said that.
Yeah, I did.
So, but to each his own. But like sometimes, I mean, that was the formation skydiving or the free flying or the wingsuiting of its day.
Yeah,
and so. Especially depending where you grew up. If you're growing up in like a little farm town and your parents were like accuracy jumpers or style jumpers,
sure,
kind of
that's what you did.
I think that's what you do. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I started my jumping career in Vegas, and I was coming up just as free flying was taking off. I think the very first video, Chronicles by Zipser and the boys, had come out, which was fucking groundbreaking. And it came out, I don't know, maybe the second year I was in the sport, maybe. But of course, as soon as I graduated AFF, you got to go buy an RW suit with grippers. All right, because that's what you're supposed to do, and then promptly never fucking used them for anything, and then moving forward again, it became the whole free fly thing and delivering pizzas all over the sky, and and that iconic video, the iconic clip in Chronicles with Zipser to a Sublime song, running upside down to the camera, doing 2 or 3 cartwheels, and then turning around and running away on his head, just. You don't need any drugs to just go, what the fuck did I just watch? And this was groundbreaking at the time. And back then, for me, you guys were doing the hardcore organizing stuff, but, our idea, the Free Flyers idea of an organizer at skydiving was usually organizing around the shots or other entertainment along the way. So definitely a different world for sure.
But that was the era when free flying was just in its infancy. There was like, everybody was an Eloy. Everybody was in, like the Flyboys were all there.
Oh yeah,
like, Olav was there. Omar was there. I mean, all the guys, like, was a big deal, And then Flyboys got like sponsored by
Paris,
Paris. But before that, Craig and Tanya and the Flyboys were up in Taft, and so like Airspeed went up there to go train, and they kind of met up with those guys, and then those guys came to Arizona, and like it was like a mecca, man. It was really, really cool.
Sure. Now, one of the impressions that I got back in the day, and I've definitely changed my opinion somewhat, but with the exception of the organizing, a lot of the teams 4-way and 8-way seem very standoffish, and I assume now that it was just because of the intensity of the training.
Yeah, it could be, especially in the plane if you're trying to joke with people. Like, sometimes as soon as you get in the plane, especially if it's a non-repeater, like if you don't have the same 5 points, you have to do 5 points and it flips you to another position. And so a lot of times I would get in that plane and I didn't have it. And so I could not even have a conversation. I couldn't even look at anybody. Sometimes someone would nudge me and say something. I would answer, and then I'd just close my eyes and go right back again. Because you can hide. You're like, no one's going to come like, I'll give you an example at the wind tunnel. Like if you're competing at a wind tunnel and trying to keep that same intensity, man, it's like as soon as you open your eyes, somebody's kind of get eyes with you and they're waving right at you. You're just like, you cannot
it's
even
done.
You got to have your eyes on the floor and like don't look at anybody because everybody's just trying to like wish you luck. It's imagine if you're in the airplane, you're in the Twin Otter and all of a sudden, like boom, 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 someone's banging on the window next to you, like woo, have a good jump, So I think it's a lot easier when you're skydiving because it's at least 15 minutes of no one's going to talk to you.
Sure.
And so I think you get in that routine that like that's your quiet place where you're going to lock that jump in before you go jump.
Sure.
And then you go to the tunnel and it's like, man, it's really challenging because it's to keep to stay mentally sharp for competition inside of a tunnel.
Oh, it has to be. It absolutely has to be. Well, because it's the only time that you actually have spectators. It's not people crowded around the TV. It's people fucking watching you doing this stuff. And how do you block that out, especially when you're used to that high intensity when it's just you in the sky, just you and your team in the sky? So I can imagine that's got to get pretty difficult.
So I think for me specifically, and I think it happens with anybody that that's done a lot of formation skydiving is you have a routine. You have a routine, and you keep working your routine, and you try to keep that routine as simple as possible, and you do the exact same thing every jump. And when you do that, for example, if I'm gonna do a jump and it has 5 different formations, like I see myself, going through the formations, I see the key, but super slow, and then once it goes through, and I have it pretty familiar at that speed, then I'll kind of speed it up and then speed it up again and just go through little details. But there's some point in there that I know I'm like, I've got it.
Sure.
I've got it. And like I tell myself, I got it. And I can actually just like, I got it, and kind of back off just a little bit and just kind of keep it. There's always a loop like in the back of my mind, like just on a like a loop, like
sure,
running through there. And so, but I think everybody has that's successful at it, has a routine and continues to work it.
For sure. Well, and I would think you would have to. Now, you obviously started out doing the stuff with 4-way and 8-way before tunnels were a factor. How much has that changed the game?
Night and day.
Yeah.
It actually changed everything.
Yeah.
It changed everything. It's like and not just for formation skydiving, but for free flying.
Everything.
Free flying, man. It's like,
it's insane. I
mean, now I can remember like going to the Orlando tunnel, and there was probably 10 people that could fly in their head.
Yep.
10 guys.
Yep.
I mean, it's like, not that many.
Yep.
Not that many. Now, dude, everybody. It's
little kids.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, though, the one thing about that and being one of the old dogs that really didn't get to put the modern tunnels to use is I take great pride in the fact that I can get on my head at all, because I had to learn one jump at a time. So I pat myself on the back for being one of the old guys that had to do it that way. And I also thoroughly enjoy having my ass handed to me with somebody that's got 50 jumps, that's literally flying circles around me in the tunnel, because it's just fucking cool. You can't watch it and not just go, that's amazing.
And it's you have to be supportive. And it's like, but listen, like, Dean, sometimes I see it like people that are my age or older, and they don't like the tunnel. They're like, I don't like the tunnel. It's like, I like the air more. It's like, and I know why, because like people are like, they're going to be embarrassed. They don't like being embarrassed.
Sure.
But like, if you're going to learn, that's part of learning.
Sure.
Like, especially if you don't know it and you're going to try to learn it now, it's like there's that part of the learning process that's going to happen.
Well, and I remember I maybe I'm a little bit more accepting of the modern tunnels because I worked back in the day in Vegas and in the tunnel there, and I remember my old SkySurf partner Mary and I were both in tunnel instructors there, and we were going back and forth to Paris training for skysurfing because we needed the otter to train out of, and we became friends with Fritz and Eli and the guys, and eventually said, hey, you guys have got to come down and check out the tunnel. Well, there were only 3 tunnels in the world at the time. There was the military tunnel at Fort Bragg, and then there was Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and Vegas. That was it. So of course this was just the coolest thing in the world. It's a DC-3 propeller and 120 miles an hour of air and massive balloon suits. Yeah. But we could fly the shit out of that for what it was. And we got these are the Flyboys. These are, cutting edge free flyers bouncing off the walls. Just we're handing their asses to them. And it was fucking amazing because, are you kidding? That's Eli Thompson. And he can't do what I can do? Awesome. So now it's the same thing as I go in there and I watch these young kids just shredding in the tunnel, doing things I literally will never, ever be able to do. And I think it's fantastic.
I bet I was at the 2005 World Cup in Eloy, and I saw Olaf Zippler break his arm because he hadn't flown the tunnel that much.
Yep.
And he kind of corked out a little bit and put his arm out and broke both forearm bones. And it's one of those things where people are like, that was Olaf. It's like, and even then, that's when things were just still like, a lot of people hadn't flown that much in there.
No, I just had I had Ray Kubiak on the show.
Ray Liable?
Yeah, man. So, and I just said this to him as well. My biggest bragging rights when it comes to a tunnel is I taught Ray how to fly in the tunnel.
Well, he's an unbelievable.
He's the original ninja, man. He really is.
Even to this day, because he was in Arizona for so long.
Sure.
And so, when you see people fly in the tunnel and you have an experienced eye, everybody has a style. And so nobody flies like Ray. Ray did tricks that nobody else did.
Yep.
And when he got to Eloy, he came from Vegas.
Yep.
And he was a killer there. And it didn't take him long to be a killer. I mean, it was.
He was doing stuff. I mean, he was 6 foot everything and next to 100 and nothing pounds, and so he was built for that Vegas tunnel. And he was doing stuff eventually in Vegas that literally no one else could do. And then transitioned into this ridiculous flying and in his own style and his own moves. And I credit him for a shitload of the revolution that happened in the tunnel because he influenced so many people going in, turning the air down, getting more dynamic with it, and trying all these things. Just insane flying.
He's in I think Virginia Beach now.
Yep.
I haven't seen him in a couple of years. I miss him. He's an awesome guy.
Yeah, shout out Ray.
Yeah.
His ears are burning.
Reliable.
Yeah, man. So you do airspeed, 4 and 8-way teams. How long were you on competing actively with them?
With airspeed, 17 years.
Jesus Christ.
17. So I was 8 years on the Golden Knights and 17 with airspeed, and then
That's a long time with one team.
Yeah.
How many times did you guys take the gold?
Me personally, or just
you personally?
So I won 3 world championships, all 8-way on the Golden Knights, and then some World Cups. But like mostly, we just talk about world championships.
Sure.
So won 3 8-way world championships on the Golden Knights. Then went to airspeed and won 2 more 8-ways and 2 more 4-ways. So 7 total.
I like how you had to go. We'll just talk about the world titles because the other stuff. See. Well, too many to count.
Well, because man, they're monsters, They're monsters
well, that was the goal, and that's what Dan BC said. Is look, we started airspeed to win the world.
Yeah,
that's it. We wanted to beat the fucking French.
Yeah,
because the French were a sponsored team. They had the full ride. They were doing stuff that you guys couldn't do. So
and the Golden Knights too.
Yeah. Well, you can't discount that. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah. And so, but with airspeed, one of the coolest things is like trying to win both events. And so, we almost did it like 2001. We won the 4-way, and on the last round of 8-way, we kind of blew it in the last round. And so
man.
Lost it in the last round. So, but it was like that thing trying to win, not even like the 100 meter, 200 meter, because Usain Bolt's done that. Like it makes it look easy.
Right.
Crossing the finish line, looking at the camera. But trying to win it, was a big goal.
Sure.
Big goal. And it was that kind of goal setting was really addictive. Like when you're with a bunch of super hard driving people and they're trying to do something that's never been done before. That was a big attraction for that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and you set a lot of goals like that, though. I mean, you started getting into the really large formation skydiving stuff that personally terrifies the shit out of me, and probably rightly so, because holy shit. So you started out in the big formation stuff. What was the progression with that? So
we did. I had. The first big way that I was on was the one that Airspeed did, in the 300 way. And so at that point, I'd never even been on a 100 way.
Wow.
Right? And so I think the biggest thing I'd been on was like 70 way or something, like 60 way. And so I was one of the organizers. And so I had a 100 way group. And this is kind of funny. So like for the 300 way in Arizona, it's done out of 15 Twin Otters from 20,000 feet. And man, it built really well because you get 20 people out of an otter, and if you're going to do like when it went to the 400 way, there was 5 C-130s,
right?
And it's like a lot of people in each of those, and it's really strung out, a super high speed. It's like 150 knots because I think it's at 24,000.
Sure,
it's super fast. The exit it's crazy fast, and so it was. From 20,000 feet out of Twin Otters, and it actually worked really, really well. But kind of a funny story, like I had never even been on a 100 way. Oh yeah, I had been on a 100 way. It was like we did the Arizona Challenge. We did 100 ways. And so I think we had the 300 people, and then we had the bench. So it was like a 107 way or something like that, And so I'm organizing 100 way. And there's another 100 way right here, and there's another 100 way right here, all out in this field, like in Eloy, 3 different 100 ways. Like, it's crazy if you think about that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, can you guys move your group over that way a little bit? I need a little more space. So I'm organizing my group, and I'm like, hey, you guys, how many people, this is the biggest formation they've ever been on? I'm like, come on, man, raise your hand. It's like, it's the biggest formation for me, too. And so, but it was super, super fun, and it was super successful. And so we built the 300 way. I think it was 2002.
Sounds about right.
And then, and I know they had been trying to build the 300 way. They did like 287s and 290s and stuff like that. Been trying it for years. And so then BJ Worth invited most of the Airspeed guys to help be part of to train like the bench guys.
Sure.
Like they have a group of experienced skydivers on the bench.
Right.
So as they start with the record, as people are, let's say the first 4 or 5 days, they're not going to cut anybody.
Right.
But if you start seeing the same mistakes, they're going to tell you, okay, we've had 4 days. Any mistakes now, you're going to be eliminated.
Sure.
Yes, unfortunately, but that's just how it has to work. And so if somebody was eliminated, we would send an experienced skydiver into that slot. And so we had... we were in Thailand in 2004, and even before the record, we had a big mass jump. So we were going to go jump into like the big parade field in downtown Bangkok, and there's not a lot of outs there, right? And
No.
it was like 25, 30 mile an hour winds.
Oh, Jesus.
800 people jumping at the same time, and so all landing in the field, and so there was people everywhere. And so I think they injured like 30 or 40 people. And so our bench we never had a chance to use it.
You weren't the bench. We were
in it. We were in it. And so,
Jesus. Now, why was it Thailand?
because it was sponsored by the King of Thailand. It was for his birthday, I believe. And so, but they had the military, covered all the planes.
Yeah, they had the lift capacity.
And they had multiple crews. So you'd have they have rules with military flying that you can only spend so much time above 10,000 feet
Sure.
on oxygen, and then you need a replacement crew. And then they had another C-130 as a standby. So it was imagine 8 C-130s, with 2 crews, and they had to go there beforehand and practice flying the pattern and spotting and all that stuff. Was logistically 1 in a million opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
I just remember seeing there was a video and it showed all the planes taxiing up, to pick up all the jumpers. And it's just you can look down the runway, it's all the fumes from the exhaust, and it's everybody just walking to get on their planes, and they're all lined up nose to tail.
That's insane.
It's amazing.
That's just logistically, that had to have been a nightmare though. I mean, and you're dealing with pilots that have more than likely never flown skydivers before, maybe not even flown formation before. Wow.
Yeah, well, you as a pilot get this, man. It's to fly in formation, you need to fly fast. And so exit speed was 150 knots.
Jesus Christ.
But man, it was, and I was Xing an 8-way. And so, when I went there, if you look at that 357 way and the 400 way, there's one guy in a green suit.
Right.
That's me. That's me. And so I had to wear the green suit, and everybody else was in red, white, and blue, mostly so people could pick out the heading. Because a lot of times if it comes out like that, if it's starting to build and it's like a 100 way and it starts to rotate,
Sure.
You can't really see it. You're just diving at it, thinking it's going to be this is 6 o'clock, this is 12 o'clock. You're diving at it, looking for your approach angle, and you're where's the dude in the green suit? And so you can check out his angle, and maybe he's off a little bit.
Right.
Does that make sense? Anyway, so that we built that one. It was a 357 way, and then 2 years later we did a 400 way.
Wow, man!
But listen, man, if we had 100 more people on the 400 way, it would be a 500 way. It was that there was that much time.
Wow!
So it was so much coordination. I had air to air communication. So I had. So there, in each of the 5 planes, there's a transceiver. There's a receiver.
Right.
There's one guy with a transceiver in each plane. So as I'm giving the count, I'm giving the exit count and I'm doing the count off, and so in amongst all those planes, there's 60 receivers in people's helmets.
Right.
And so what was going on is we would exit and we would build the base and we'd wait until it got the fall rate falling really fast, and then I would call the first wave in. So 30 people would come in and dock.
All right.
Okay. And then once they're docked, everybody's in a stadium approach. Looks like everybody's if you imagine a stadium looking from on a flat view, like if you're in the end zone,
Sure.
like looking out, and you can look up, and you can see the stairs going up like that, and this is how we would have the approach angle. It's almost like a 45-degree approach,
Sure.
like on an airplane
Sure.
coming down in. And so, as we're in the base, I could just see, man, there's 400 people out here just all waiting, like until
Just hanging
I
out.
get a chance to say, okay, next guys come on in. So we had the next guys come in, and then it got to be a 60-way. And then when it was good, it was like, come on in. This is a minute, Dean, just for the 60, a minute.
That's insane.
So everybody's getting into position, and then once the 60-way is built, it's like, okay, start docking. And
Right.
then all those guys with the receivers, they're leading in their sectors. So there's 10 sectors in there. And so that one guy with the receiver, when he starts coming in, then your sector follows behind you.
Wow.
And it was really well planned. And the same thing, like what you talked about, is like, I was nervous. I was like,
Yeah.
about the break-off.
Oh God, yeah, no, we haven't even gotten to that. How freaky that is to me. Oh my God,
It's actually, Dean, after going through it, it's super safe. It's super safe. But we're breaking off at like 8,000 feet.
Sure.
So it's like, and I was in the middle. So I was thinking, man, people are not going to be leaving fast enough. And so, man, everything was timed with the pilot chute, and then the break-off wave would go, and then like 5 seconds later, another pilot chute would go. 5 seconds later, those guys go. But
man, oh man. I mean, it just I've only seen, I think the biggest one I've ever seen is 100-way, and I was just blown away by the fact that I could hear them in free fall, from the ground, and amazed that they're pushing this much air out of the way, and to be able to clearly see this 100-way and then watch it breaking off in rings and such. But I can't even wrap my head around it. And I've seen the picture of the 400-way more times than I can count, but I don't think I've ever really tried to soak it in.
Yeah.
That's 400 people.
it's a lot.
In free fall and just to build it, the closing speeds have got to be insane. I mean, that's a risky undertaking.
Well, you know what? It's a big ambitious project, and it's mostly, the biggest thing is the organization of it. Like actually the skydiving part of it is for me the easier part of it.
Sure.
But like the organizing the pilots, the aircraft, because like we tried to do there was a plan to do a 500-way here, and so that was all gonna go, and then we just had trouble getting the aircraft.
Sure.
And so like all the logistics for the hotels, all that stuff, like, and all that would have been great, but just getting the airplanes here. But we had to get them to do a 250-way and practice the jump runs, flying in formation with two crews.
Yep.
It's logistically super expensive.
That seems to be what is going to keep anything larger than a 400 from happening.
Well, the guy that I'm coaching, the sponsor of this Russian team.
He wants to do it.
So listen, so Andrei Barabash, and I'm not saying anything, he hasn't said it like, oh, I'm going to do this, but he's talking about it. And so he's like, when they finish with the world champs, because they're training this 8-way team, they're putting a lot of money and a lot of time. All those guys they're salaried athletes on that team. And so, I mean, he's the support on it. And so he wants to win the 8-way in 2020 in Russia, and he's going to be 56 years old.
That's awesome.
And so the thing is, he's a really big businessman, and when I was at his drop zone in tonight, dude, it's big enough to do a 1,000-way there. I was like, it was so massive. and I said something. I was like, you could do a 700-way here. And he goes, through a translator, he said, if after this 8-way project goes, maybe I think I might do the 500-way. Like, but listen, we need guys like that.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Well, you need some big dreamers and ones that are just going to go, fuck it, I'm going to do what they say I shouldn't do. And because that's how a lot of shit gets done.
You're right.
Man, oh man. Well, have you gotten any blowback for training the Russians?
Okay, I'm glad you asked that, Dean, because not directly, but it was a quandary, because when they asked me, even when I was on the Golden Knights, we were really good friends with the Russian 8-way, because they were excellent athletes and excellent. I don't want to say that, man. They're just good sportsmen, man. Whether they won or if they were in second place or third place, they always were great sportsmen and fair. And we always had that when I was on the Golden Knights and on Airspeed. We always looked at them very highly. And so, I mean, when I first met the Russian team, this is like the late 80s, man. It was Eagle and the Bear.
Sure.
And I remember I was in Vichy, France, 1988, reading Hunt for Red October. And this is the truth. I'm sitting against the hangar. It's kind of raining out there, and I'm looking at the Russian guys out there. I'm like, those are the guys that they're talking about in this book.
Right.
I'm like, and I'm in the U.S. Army, and those guys are all Russian military, and they were just the kindest, most awesome guys ever.
Sure.
And so
I mean, come on, the rivalry in the culture USA USSR is that's our entire lives. I mean, it's us against them. It's the Red Army. It's all this shit, right?
boycotting the Moscow Olympics, boycotting the LA Olympics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All that shit's what we grew up with, and I love the fact that I've been in the sport long enough that embraces every culture, and everybody else has said the same thing. When it's all said and done, it's not a Russian skydiver or a French skydiver or an American skydiver. It's a fucking skydiver.
Yeah.
That's it. Which is really cool. Not to say that there aren't Russians or French people or that I don't get along with, but they're skydivers. So you have that level of respect in the sport.
And people talk about that. You hear people say, well, like athletics like supersede that kind of stuff because it's a different thing. But skydiving goes even a little bit more because like it's one of the things that we really preached on Airspeed was to be very open with all techniques, to share. If it's like not hiding anything, and if we get beaten, then let's be good athletes and celebrate for the guys that just beat us, kind of a thing, And so to go back to your question, Dean, so had I gotten any grief, not directly, but when they asked me, I was torn because I was thinking, I really want to, but I was also, it's a completely different skydiving system.
Sure.
Like nobody even knows that. So they look at, the Russians do some crazy shit.
Sure.
Well,
they're Russians.
Well, that's what we always said. They're Russians, man. But sometimes they'll do that stuff really, really well.
Sure.
And so I was like, man, I really want to. And they asked me. And so they asked Dan BC. So the two guys that have coached the Russian 8-way team is Dan BC and myself.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, so I agreed to it. And I was at the World Championship with the Golden Knights, and I'm still great friends with all those guys.
Sure.
And so, and one of the things that kept coming up on the interviews, like on Skydive TV with
Sammy,
with Sammy, and Sammy's like, he was asking those same kind of questions, and it's like because people wanted to know, and I said, it's they asked, and it's like, with all like football teams, like soccer teams, they all have like international coaches and stuff like that. So it's a little bit the same way, but also it's like, I want to make it competitive.
Sure.
Man. I want to make it competitive. I don't want to breeze through it. It's like if the Golden Knights go do like a gajillion point average and they beat everybody by 50 points, it's not so exciting.
No, absolutely not.
Like this last year with Hayabusa and Airspeed, it was tied up after the 9th round, and they did a 10th round jump off. That was exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I want to see.
Of course. Well, although the real test about whether or not you're going to get any blowback is if they win.
Well,
that's when we're going to find out if you're going to get shit.
Well, the Golden Knights they did an interview and on Skydive TV in Australia at the World Championship last year. And so when I came in the next morning and they were all like, "Hey, Craig, did you see Skydive TV?" And I said, "No." They go, "Oh yeah, you gotta watch that." I was like, and so they interviewed the Golden Knights, the whole 8-way team. And so Matt Davidson, who's retiring, I think in a couple of months. He's been on the team for 26 years.
Jesus Christ.
26 years.
Wow.
Okay. And so so they asked Matt like what he thought about me coaching the Russian 8-way team, and Matt said something really sarcastic, like joking around.
Sure.
And so, but it was really cool. Like he did say, like, man, we can see the improvement, and it's like we wish them the best kind of
Well,
thing.
and no doubt you're going to get shit for it, but it's going to most likely be good-natured shit.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But there's every now and then, like I hear something from somebody, and it's like, I'm just going to act like I didn't hear that.
Right.
Because
right.
like, some people, and that's an opinion, you know. But.
Well, I mean, besides the fact that you're helping keep it competitive by giving them the same tools that they're competing against, which there's nothing unfair about that. It's not like you're giving them an extra leg up. You're just showing them the same tools that these other guys have got. But you're also, you and Dan BC both being that. Come on, there's a reason why you do it. You're helping this team, and you're taking care of yourself as well.
And we're trying to raise the level of the sport.
Of course.
Like the more that we have that, it's like then it gets more. The more information that's out there, the more people can spread it and develop new information.
Of course, and the further the sport goes. I mean, it's changed dramatically even in my time in the sport, and although it seems like I've been in it in my mind for a short period of time, it's actually been a while. And 23 years in the sport's not a short bit of time, but so many things have changed. But over the past, 10 years, they've changed drastically,
Yes.
and it's the tunnels and such like that. You know,
That's its own sport now.
Oh, I know.
I mean, I think, and I've seen the writing on the wall. It's going to be an Olympic sport.
Yeah,
gonna be
I
an
think
Olympic
so.
sport.
Well, I mean, one of the reasons that, like sky surfing, when I was with Mary back in the day, the reason that it never really took off and the X Games only had it for a few years is because it's not spectator friendly.
Yes.
It's people can't wrap their head around it. They think it looks cool, but even back in the day, they were having a really difficult time judging it because everybody had such different styles, and there's not really any standardization with it. And the average Joe Blow doesn't have a fucking clue what's going on or how truly difficult it is. Whereas you get in the tunnel, and the same can be said that they don't really understand the difficulty level, but it's in their face, happening live, and it just looks amazing.
And it's right in front of the glass, like
It's
looking
right
at
there.
the cakes in the bakery.
Yeah,
you know.
it's right there. Well, and now they've got the stage show that does the Peter Pan bit that Ray Kubiak was telling me about. So now it's become this live entertainment, and it's, I mean, wow. I think you're right. It's going to end up an Olympic sport. It'll be a little while. I guess it just got turned down this time around, but hopefully for the next ones.
Well, I went to a couple World Games where they choose the next sport. Like they would have 30 different sports invited, and they would choose 2 for the next Olympics. And so I went to a couple of those, and I mean, we were there with like bodybuilders and trampoliners and like rhythmic gymnastics, and it was really cool. It was like being an Olympic athlete. And you know, the reason they didn't take formation skydiving is, you know, it's weather. Like they had bad weather, and then you're a dot. You're a little dot up there.
Well, that's it. I don't think you're ever going to have a direct translation into Olympic sport that requires a TV to watch it live.
Right.
I just don't, you know, that's why I think swooping will make it.
Oh, man, that's exciting.
Yeah. Well, and of course, the big thing with canopy piloting, and Junior and I laughed about this, is for as much as I love it, it's a lot like NASCAR. People go for 2 reasons. It's really cool, but they don't go to watch the cars go around in circles. They go to watch them hit the fucking wall. So you're going watching these chows. And of course, now, holy shit, a wipeout nowadays is a spectacular sight to see.
But at least it's on the water, you know? So it's like, I mean, I don't want anybody to get hurt, but listen, like sometimes people love seeing like going in the water. Like they just, I think it's the best of both worlds for spectators. You know?
Yeah, we like that carnage for sure. Well, and that's one of the reasons that I think the freestyle thing that they got going in Copenhagen is so fucking fun, because it's a raft in the middle of a river. Everybody's getting wet.
Yeah. And the announcer for that, and how well they've got that timed, like they said something like, I watched it on Facebook, and it was like a 2-hour video, but man, it was so well executed. There was
extremely well done.
Like no downtime. Like there was like a 30-second interview time, and the next guy's coming down to do a swoop.
Speaking of, Brian Regan did that, yeah. I think he was
Reagan,
So just in case you're listening, I'm gonna have to get your ass in the booth as well. I know you've got some great stories to tell.
You know what it was? Actually, you know what? Yeah, I think Reagan was doing it, and there was another guy, an Irish guy, that did a really good job too.
Yeah.
But and I wasn't there, but I've just heard people talking about it. It was really well done. It was not a lot of sponsorship, just from the guys that from the company that did it. And man, they had it really well timed, just because there was never like downtime. It was just either seeing an interview or seeing somebody getting ready to land.
There, yeah. Well, one of the things that Junior said was over the course of the weekend that they had it, they had like 100,000 people come out to see it.
Amazing.
Did you ever think
No.
I still have a tough time wrapping my head around that. 100,000 people coming out to watch people land parachutes.
Amazing.
I mean, I think it's that fucking cool, but I never thought it would get to this scale. So I can only imagine what the next 10 or 20 years has gotten.
Well, I mean, I've been to a lot of swoop meets, and especially it's not so quick. I mean, it's like, you know, like when you can take a 2-hour window and do the whole thing, you know, and
well, the most entertaining when we were watching swooping, this was back when I was working at Cross Keys, we had the Tuesday morning swoop club, and we started at like 6 in the morning, and it's just a Cessna going up. So you had lots of gap in between time, but we were getting shitty ass drunk next to the pond. So you just sit to the pond, get fucking hammered, and watch guys chow all day. So it was amazing. Oh, yeah. You know, the fire trucks would bring out the fire hoses, and they'd spray the pond to fill up the pond, and guys are swooping under the water and getting taken out by the fucking water stream, and you're just hammered on the side of the pond having a blast. So, you know, go ahead.
I think that would draw a large number of people too as
well.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, come on. Skydiving is a spectator sport, but the shit you're watching is usually just what's happening after the jumping's done.
Man, I think tunnels, man. I think it's like swooping for sure, and then tunnels, because, you know, there's just, they're everywhere now. Yep. They're everywhere, all over the place, you know. And now they're getting ready to have they're going to have the 8-way, the indoor World Cup for 8-way.
Yep.
In France next month in April.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, a friend of both of ours, Lori Lubby, just went to take a shot at getting on the national team for France.
Okay.
Because she was working at tunnels and head back there. So again, more power to her.
All right.
What do you think of Jetman and stuff? Where do you think that's going?
Dude, I've known those guys for a very long time, and I think that they couldn't have picked a better two guys,
right?
You know,
the personality on these guys.
Yeah, I mean, just the talent, and those guys. Those guys are comedians, man.
They are.
Did you ever see him on the Conan O'Brien show?
Yeah, I was fucking dying. Absolutely dying. And again, shocked because you're sitting there watching on an international platform two guys that just like to jump off the shit. And now they're sitting next to Conan O'Brien telling stories about how they're trying to fly back in a plane. Fuck me, I was dying, man. It was so fun.
It was like I was in stitches, man, because they're pretty good, and it's not even their native language. It's like their second language, and so they were a lot of comedy going on.
Oh yeah, I'm quite looking forward to. They told me they'd come and sit down with me at some point in the future, so I'm really looking forward to that because I have a feeling it's just going to be wind them up and let them go. I'm
sure, but man, I was just talking to them this morning. They're on the drop zone, and so they were kind of alluding to some of the stuff that they had been doing, and so they said that there's some new footage on YouTube. I know they said there's something about they did a base jump, like took off from a ramp up in Norway and just like kind of went off and started the engines and took off. And I saw something the other day where it was just like either Vince or Fred was just hovering
next to a helicopter.
Yeah,
I saw that. Holy shit!
Did you see the one when they were flying with the French aerobatic team, the jets?
Yeah, it's insane.
Listen, I was talking with Fred, and Fred's like, man, he goes, here we are, we're flying with these. There's like 10. It looks like the Blue Angels or the Thunderbird, like formation skydive. They're flying like a diamond, you know, and so they had to fly those jets so slow because these guys 250 knots is the max that these guys could go.
Yeah,
and so they're flying 250. And so they're flying super slow in formation, which is crazy.
It's insane.
They're just flying straight. They're not doing anything. And so when they turned, they did this super, really gradual turn. So that whole thing is like banking. So all 10 of those planes are like, you imagine being like a 20-degree angle all the way through it.
Oh, yeah.
And so Fred's all the way at the top, Vince at the bottom, and Eve's like somewhere else in there. And I remember Fred was like, they're all in comms, and he was going through that turn. And as they're turning, he's way up in there looking from the high side of the wing all the way through the middle. And the guy in the jet's like, would you guys look at these guys? Look at these guys. I want to do that. Oh, man, that looks so cool.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Yes.
It's absolutely incredible that they're looking at Vince and Fred going, oh, my God, I want to be that cool.
And Fred's like, if there was a moment that like I just want to like linger on for a really long time, that would be my moment.
Oh yeah. You know, when they were doing the workups for flying with the big A380, I was privileged enough to be one of the otters that they were doing the practice with, and sitting in the captain's seat and looking out my window at a jet man formed up on my wing is just the most insane thing. And of course, that was the reverse of their thing with those jets. They had to actually go slower than they'd prefer because the Otter's not a fast bird.
Yeah.
You know, so they were going a little bit slower. And this was a couple of years back, so I know that they've improved even more with the jets and stuff. But
More, like bigger engines.
bigger engines, faster. I mean, well, for them to be able to hold a hover.
Yeah.
And not a hover
crazy.
just off the ground, but a hover at thousands of feet. Fucking hell.
Actually, I didn't even realize. I was talking with friend Vince this morning, and I was like, because they're both jumping this, they have this like supine harness that they're jumping for flying canopies, and I said, "Are you guys are jumping that with the jet man?" He's like, "No, we're jumping 360 square foot canopies, like tandem rigs."
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised.
It's well, I mean, I can't imagine the logistics that goes on. I don't even want to try and imagine. I mean, it's Buzz Lightyear shit. It really is that cool.
That is Buzz Lightyear.
It is.
If
It's
you
Buzz Lightyear.
put Buzz Lightyear side by side with the Jetman, they're they're
I
like
don't-
the exact same thing.
How in the fuck Disney is not sponsoring these guys is beyond me. I mean, holy shit, they really are Buzz Lightyear. It really does make me wonder because I never would have imagined.
Yeah.
I never would have imagined.
Actually, I never thought until you said Buzz Lightyear. Like I never really, but I can see Buzz Lightyear right now with like that. You know,
Oh
like
yeah,
that-
I'd fucking kill to get one of them dressed up like Buzz Lightyear, screaming to infinity and beyond before they take off. Man, that would be amazing. Absolutely amazing. Well, so what comes next, man? I mean, shit, you've pretty much covered this huge swath of your life and done so many different things in skydiving. Are there any different aspirations? Are there any different goals in skydiving or any other sport or any other thing? I mean, is it just keep on keeping on or?
Well, the one thing is I want to stay healthy, man. 'Cause
Yeah.
like it, and you alluded to it earlier. It's like, you know, I'm 53, and man, the older I get, the more I realize that I want to keep jumping, but I'm not jumping as much. I'm not jumping like when I was on a full-time training trip.
Sure.
Like even when I was here at Skydive Dubai, I was probably doing 250 jumps a year,
Right.
you know? And so I'm probably doing the same thing. So, man, it's like I'm 53 and like, man, I want to keep jumping while I can.
Yeah.
There's going to be a time when I'm going to like not going to be able to jump, even though I hate to say that, man. It's like, but I want to be like Lou Sanborn.
Right? Just
know?
still going.
I want to be like Lou Sanborn.
Well, it was. I stopped jumping for about 4 years, and flying took over for me. And I hit a point for myself in the sport where I just didn't have the passion. I was working in the sport way too quickly and didn't draw as much fun out of it as I should have.
But you're still jumping, though.
Yeah. So I got back into it because actually a mutual friend of ours, Junior, one day asked, "Hey, you want to go make a jump?" And I got butterflies because I hadn't jumped in like 4 years. And I'm like, oh, fuck, that's a scary thought. I guess I should probably go jump again because I'm scared. I'm nervous, you know. And of course, fell back into it. And I became, after, well, it would have been 19, almost 20 years in the sport at the time, for the first time, I became a fun jumper. Awesome. And just went out to have fun. And same thing. I mean, I turned 50 this year, and it takes a toll. I mean, how many jumps do you have?
30, a little over 30,000.
30 fucking thousand jumps. Man, I mean, I've got 11,000, and every part of my body affected by that reminds me every morning, hey.
Man, I don't have that, Dean.
Really?
I don't have it.
Lucky fucker.
Dude, been super flexible. I just had for the first time ever, like, I broke my ankle on my second jump. That's
Right.
it. That was it, man. And so, no blown out knees, no blown out ankles, no nothing, shoulders, neck. So I just had where my shoulder, like, you know, the pull shoulder. And
Yeah.
so I
Oh, yeah.
like Rook Nelson, there's a couple other people, they had to switch over to the left. Like I had like 2 or 3 teammates that had to switch over to their left hand because just that rotational movement,
Oh,
like
yeah.
coming in, it's like this movement, like going in to grab your pilot chute,
Yeah.
pulling it out and then letting it go. It's something. It's like
It's rotator cuff.
It's rotator cuff or like supraspinatus, and this
Yep.
is what it was diagnosed with me. It was supraspinatus.
Yep.
And so I was, man, for a while there, I was like not working out. I was
Sure.
getting kind of fat and just fat, dumb, and happy. And I was like, man, No.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Not doing it, man.
Can't do it.
No, I can't do it because, man, it's like it'll happen much faster when you're 50 than when you're 40s and 30s, and I'm sure it's the same when you're 60s.
Yeah, well, there's a huge amount of pride in being the age that we're at and still being able to keep up with the kids.
Yeah.
And still be able to not have limitations because this hurts or that's hurt. I mean, I've slowed down some, but not because I can't do things. It's just because I go, oh, wait a second. All right, I'm going to take it a little bit slower here and there, but I've still got the ability and still certainly enjoy it. It's one of the reasons that I work out as much as I can.
And to be able to run. I mean, like, if you're going to jump a high-speed canopy, like, dude, you have to, because you can't choose to land on a golf course every time.
No.
You know, like, a lot of times you're traveling, you're going to go to Australia here, someplace else, and you're going to, like, the thing's not level and you're smoking downwind, and it's like you're going to have to run it out or you're going to have to slide. But like the thing is, it's like it could happen even quicker as you get older.
Sure.
And so I think we're both saying the same thing, is I want to stay in shape, and I don't want to be heavy, and I want to work out.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Well, and for most of my adult life, I played the singles game, so I had a lot of motivations for staying in shape. So I had to try and stay in shape that way, and now my girlfriend, I guarantee, does not want me getting fat and tubby. You know, the hair's already going; she's coping with that. But I think fat and bald, no, that wouldn't work. That would not work. Well, and your significant other for years and years is a badass skydiver of her own,
and we were teammates for. I think she was on Airspeed. She got in 2002, and we left in 2011.
So how was that?
Amazing, man.
Yeah?
Amazing. Just like, truly, like, and I'm not just saying that because I know she's going to be listening, but like she is truly the one. But aside from that, she is a badass. And she's a badass. And she won the women's event in 2001. Then we got on our team. She came on Airspeed and she won the 8-way with us.
Right.
In 2004, and then we won the 4-way in 2008, and we tried to win it again in 2010, and just had probably one of the best 4-way competitions of our entire life. And we were tied up after round 9 and went to a 10th round, and we lost it in the 10th round.
Wow!
Again. So, you know, all those things that I told you about the World Championship, that's the ones we won, but there's still those silver medal ones that were just they're sometimes even better than the gold. Even though but it's like just because. It was like we put up such a good fight, and super proud of that performance. But she is a badass.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, she carries a shitload of weight on her own. There's no doubt.
So we're talking about Eliana Rodriguez, because we haven't even mentioned her name. So my significant other.
Well, you know, yeah. It's I've talked to a couple of couples, and like Pat and Siobhan K. And Pat's like, "Fuck no, I'm not training her for shit. She's doing it all on her own," and she's a much more relaxed jumper, obviously, but it seems to go one or the other. Either it's a couple that can do it all together, or they do none of it together.
Well, we were like, if you look at a 4-way team, we were piece partners. It breaks into 2 pieces,
right?
And they're always turning together. So we were piece partners in the 4-way. We were piece partners in the 8-way.
Jesus.
Yeah, but we're together all the time, and I'm gonna say it. I'm saying it because it's the truth. It's like it's my favorite person I want to hang out with, man. It's best friend, man.
That's
she is
fucking
awesome,
cool,
man. She's awesome, man. And like, you know her, Dean. It's like if you're gonna take you 5 seconds to have a conversation with her, and you're like, "Yep, I see it, man. I see it. She's amazing."
Well, both of you guys, it's kind of funny because, like I said, the first impression that most people get with you, and one that I still have after the years that I've known you, is professionalism is the first word that comes to mind, but also just friendly, outgoing, and gregarious. And both of you guys are exactly the same way, extremely approachable. And if you know anything about your history, that's not necessarily what you'd expect. But just the way you even carry yourself, and she is exactly the same way. You carry yourself with a, hey, come say hi, kind of, you know, I mean, I think the few times that you've ever gone, oh, hang on a second, because you're deep in training and doing all kinds of stuff, but otherwise you have never been anything but extremely approachable. For those listening, right now, Craig and I are sitting in a bathroom.
Dean's on the toilet.
Yeah, I'm literally I'm kneeling on the toilet in a bathroom to do this podcast. Now, granted, it's a very pimp studio like toilet,
pimp,
but I got Craig Girard to come sit in a toilet with me. So that says a lot about this guy. It really does.
Well, I came in, so like Dean was showing me in the apartment. And I looked, I go, what is this, a closet? He goes, no, man, it's a toilet. So it's got like these little, like all the sound equipment's over the top of the sink and the toilet, but it's kind of covered. I was like, pretty well done, Dean.
We one of the ideas was because I always say it's another edition of the Lunatic Fringe coming from the can. Obviously now it's because the can's the toilet, but the running joke was because it's not on video that I'd have the toilet open and just occasionally just drop like an ice cube in there, so you'd hear the kaplunk, just as a good laugh. Well, so as we wrap things up, what do you want up and coming jumpers or jumpers that are trying to find their way in the sport, or even established people that are kind of hitting a stalemate or anything? What advice would you give to them to keep the passion going? I mean, you've been doing this a long time and you still love the hell out of it.
Well, I'm going to come back to where I started, is if you're an experienced jumper, you have to welcome people, man, because the people that want to jump, sometimes they're not the superstars, and they're just the guys that want to because it looks different. But I think the majority of skydivers know this already. But just to restate it, go out of your way. If there's somebody on the drop zone that you don't know who they are, don't just walk by them, and don't like, well, I'll meet them some other time and say, hey, I'm Craig, man, what's your name?
Sure.
You know, and for the guys coming in, it's like, if you think about coming to a drop zone, everybody put yourself walking into the biggest drop zone you've ever had, how nervous you are, and you're like, I don't care what I'm doing. I just want somebody to ask me if I want to jump.
Sure.
Not like, how good are you? How many jumps do you have? Where are you from? Is like no ego, like, hey, would you like to make a jump? And luckily there's a lot of organizers out to do that. But listen, like us as individuals, we have to do that. Like if there's somebody we don't know, let's go introduce ourselves, welcome them back in, and like just keep the love going.
Absolutely. Well, that's one of the things that I've had to try and reprogram myself to do, because I've spent so much time in the front of the plane that it's very easy for me to become anonymous. And a lot of the jump pilots out there are that way. I mean, fuck, I'm flying an insane amount of loads. I have just enough time to pee, shove some food in my face, and then go. And then when I come out to jump, I'll do hop and pops or whatever, just get on the loads where I can. But I've had to relearn how to go out of my way to go, hey, so what's going on? And I forgot for so long and remembered when I started jumping again and I became a fun jumper for the first time, that, oh my God, this is why I got into it in the first place. It's not just because it's this and it's badass and jumping and all that. It's everything.
And people like, a lot of people, a lot of people here know you too, but like, if people are coming, they don't know that you're the pilot, unless you can see your right hand, right? Like flying that, they got a tattoo on the back of it or something. But
that's it.
Like I'm the pilot, you know, and I'm jumping.
Yeah,
you know, like
that was one of the. I wrote an article quite a while back that was talking about flying as a jump pilot for a long time, and I'm at the larger drop zone. It's true that most people, even some of the people that are out there every weekend jumping, don't even know who their pilots are. You don't see them, you know. I mean, you go to some place like Paris Valley or Eloy that's just turning and burning all day long, and you're a weekend warrior. You might never actually see your pilot.
No, a lot of times they don't shut the planes down. They hot fuel them. They'll switch out the pilot. They'll come out, switch out a pilot while it's hot fueling, and just keep them on going.
Oh yeah, man. When I was in Chicago, flying for Chicagoland, we hot fueled on a separate little grass strip. I would get out of the airplane, I would hot fuel it myself, get back in the airplane, and my record was 40 loads in one day. And by the time I shut down, everybody else was gone. You know, and that was the standard. I was there before everybody. I was in the airplane running when they showed up, and I didn't get out until the sun was going down. Turning and burning. So I was really glad to get back into turning into a fun jumper and being able to do exactly what you said, which is going out of my way to meet people that I wouldn't normally meet and welcome them in.
And the other one is, man, it's like cross-pollinate, man. It's like, you know, I dig that. Like when free flyers go belly flying and like going wingsuiting and canopy flying, you know, it's like, I love that, man.
It was one of the cool things about when hybrids started to become popular, because you had people that were free flyers from the beginning that couldn't build a fucking round.
Right.
To do a hybrid, and they had to learn. And it was, I was lucky enough that I came into it when it was mostly belly and free flying was just starting. And free flying has always been my preference, simply because I've always been a smaller group skydiver. It's been 2 and 3 and 4 guys. And when you're just out screwing around, grabbing a chest strap and a leg strap and rolling out the door was just the funnest thing to do.
Yeah.
But I was lucky in that I got to see both sides of it, and can appreciate the skill and the intensity of the RW stuff, but also love the freedom, so to speak, of the free flying stuff. So it's really cool. So you're right, cross-pollinating, doing a little bit of everything, and occasionally go take a ride along with the pilot.
Yeah.
Come keep us company. Sit up in the cockpit. Shoot the shit with us. Find out what we do.
You know what? In Skydive Arizona, they don't do that. Like they did it for a while, and they had the auto feather switch. You know, they had it on there. So like a lot of people would and so they're like, no more, man, no more. Like they would auto feather. So like it happened a couple of times, and so they're like, no. Nobody can go the right seat up there, but that's not like that here. Like
Right? Well, in a lot of drop zones, we were always able to, but as a jump pilot, you get really good at giving a hell of a briefing. All right, look.
Don't touch that.
Yeah, if it moves, including me, don't fucking touch it. And the most important of which is if you're going to scream on the way down, move your fucking microphone. All right. Well, any other parting words? Is there any place that people can go, or where should they go to check out Airspeed and check out all the other stuff that you're doing? Are there Instagram accounts, Facebook?
I don't have an Instagram account.
Good for you.
I'm on Facebook and WhatsApp. I don't know if you get that.
No, don't give out your WhatsApp number.
My phone number is. No, I'm just on Facebook, but
just have them following Airspeed and see if the Russians pull it out this year.
Yeah, but it'll be on Sky League. So like Sky League, if you're not familiar with it, it's basically it's an online newspaper that's written by Kurt Gable out of DeLand, Florida, and so it's www.skyleague.com.
Awesome.
And it has follows all the 4-way and 8-way and all that stuff.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, they should all definitely go check that out. Of course, keep up with what happens with the Russians. We got to decide what team you're rooting for.
I'm always rooting for the U.S., you guys. But listen, the thing is, it's like I want what I want. And if people who know me, I know I've said this all the time. I want a good competition.
Hell yeah.
Like if I watch a football game, like I watch the Super Bowl, I'm like, I want to see it go to overtime, and I want to see it go to jump off rounds.
Sure.
Like, that's what I want. And when I was competing, that's all I wanted. I don't care what happens. I want to go to the jump off round.
Well, yeah, there's nothing less satisfying than an easy win.
Yeah. No, man, like if you go see a fight, it's like, and it's just a killer. They're just killing each other. And it's just like a great competition is something that's you're gonna win fans.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So let's win some fans.
All right. Well, then we'll see how everybody does. I'm right there with you. Go Golden Knights, but we'll see if the Russians can't put a
go Golden Knights too. But go Airspeed, go Golden Knights,
go Golden Knights. Yeah,
and go Russian guys. But
just don't go that hard. Craig, it's been an absolute pleasure having you. I really appreciate it. We'll shoot the shit again.
Yeah, man.
All right. Take care.
Right on, bud.
See ya.
Thanks.
Once again, folks, thank you for joining us for yet another edition of Lunatic Fringe Into the Void, proudly brought to you in association with the greatest, most amazing skydiving magazine on the planet, Blue Skies Mag. You're going to want to head to their website, blueskiesmag.com. At that website, you can subscribe to this epic magazine. You can get previously published issues if there's one out there you want to see again. You can get awesome swag, anything from leggings to pull-up cords, all kinds of cool shit. So head to blueskiesmag.com like right fucking now. After that, you're going to head to my website, thefuckingpilot.net. On thefuckingpilot.net, you're not only going to be able to find every other podcast and a bunch of other platforms, but you're going to be able to find both books that I've written. One is the Fucking Pilot book, which is a compilation of previously published Fucking Pilot articles for Blue Skies Magazine. The other one is the Accidental Stripper, which is about exactly what you think it's about. Both of those can be found on the website or on Amazon.com. You can also find me on Instagram under the Princess Pilot. They don't like me cussing that much, so whatever. And you can also find me on Facebook under the Fucking Pilot, but this time it's the Effin' Pilot, EFFIN Pilot on Facebook. As always, I am the Fucking Pilot. This has been Lunatic Fringe Into the Void, and it's been a blast having you. We'll see you next time around. Blue Skies.